And I have to share a screen, otherwise you will see nothing. Okay, so can you just let me know if you have image and sound now, please? Thank you. Okay, so I was saying that we are at this very important fib here, which is the 2360 fib of a big retracement we have seen here. It's the big retracement. I go a little bit fast because I already said that, but I want to be on time for the open in 3 minutes. So it's this big retracement from 2008 to 2022 when we had the low in place. We saw that we had already had some good reaction even on the daily basis, close or highs. You see here in several occasions and there in several occasions on the 2140 fib, which is just below the 2360 being usually stronger than the 2140. So we should see a reaction in this area. We have possibility, of course, to go a little bit higher because it's a very long-term fib, so we can spike like you see here. We spike above and came back under it, I'm pretty sure we will close the daily and the weekly under this fib today. Okay, if we spike, we would go to the 38.2 fib. So that's what I was showing you. I put it on your chart. You have it on your chart here, the 38.20 fib, which would be this place that I would love to see. I wanted to see it on the pre-open, but we won't get it. We are already inside the open, but it would have been great to see it before, but it could be we see it now. We spike on the open, we go higher a little bit, even if we need first to break this volume area, which is very strong, but we could look a little bit higher and then turn back on this 38.20 fib up to this potentially quarterly. It's the QS1, I think. Let me check it. It's the QR1. So it's the first resistance on the pivot, on the quarterly basis. So it's an important one. The thing is, we could well drop from here and not look higher. So that's why I went short here this morning. I went short again here later. I banked some, I reloaded some there again. So I'm trying to keep some shorts because we could well see some pullback from this area. If not now, after a spike, which would be better because we would be building a complete setup there. Now, let me make sure I am recording this thing. Okay, yes, I am recording. So I go fast still for the same reason. On the other side, we have on Dixie, which is offering a confluence. We have a huge 2360 fib here. So you see this is a quarterly chart. It's not a small one. And we have here even on a yearly base, a huge ABC. This ABC has a 2360 fib there, has a 38.2 fib. You see how we stopped there very nicely. It's a yearly chart. So it means this 38.2 is validated. Here, same thing on the 50%, but that was, even this one, yes, on the 15%. So you see, this ABC looks to be accurate and to be used by price action. So if we look at that inside here, okay, we go a little bit more inside, and that's giving us some possibility to look a little bit lower on Dixie. What happened on Dixie this morning, which is our so I had a big headache this morning with the trading view. I will explain you later. So you see, we barely doubled, we mostly double bottom here. We went a little bit under the previous bottom, but that could consider as soon as it's only 3 pips. I mean, it's nothing. So we could consider it's double bottom, but in case we would look lower, we have those levels, 165, 51, and 39, with in the middle this huge ABC that I was showing you, the big yearly ABC down. So that's the possibility we have. We have a possibility to be looking in that area. So I will highlight this this area now. Okay, I will highlight this this area and paste it on the other chart where we will go now, so you understand why we have this area. What do we have here? We have some very important yearly and quarterly support. Here we have the big fib, and here we have some weekly important support too. So that's why I have this complete thing there that I will paste and copy to the other chart, which is the work chart where we will go now, if I find it, because I had to change everything this morning. As I said already, it was a nightmare for me. Where is my work chart? Oh, shit. Sorry. It's there. I am muting you again because, okay, so I can paste it here. And this is the big area. So the top of this is a weekly support. This is a big fib. This is an inside a monthly support. I think it's a weekly. And then we have this other big 61.8. I will copy paste it there just to make sure what is that big 61.8. So I have to go back on it, because I didn't look at it this morning, and I don't want to say something that is not 100% sure. Okay, so that 61.8 is an fib retracement. Okay, so I see what it is. So it's a very important fib because it's a fib. I should not be so crowded over there. That is more than enough. Okay, so this 61.8 we have on the other fib on the work chart is a very important fib. At the same time, it's a yearly low. If I can find it again. Okay, this is the work chart. I have to save it. So at the same time, it's a very important yearly low. So if we would go lower here, we have all the support to see a reaction, and that will be more than possibility, in my opinion. I mean, it's pretty sure we get something there, if we get there. But we are already low. We are already at some double bottom here. We have seen at the same time this important 38.2, which was the bottom over there. This 38.2 is an ABC up. So at the same time, I still look at the old ABC up, because this is mostly where we stop on the 78.60, and this one has been working very, very nicely on the way up. You can see that. So we are now back testing this one. So it's the second test, you see. So probably a kind of bounce here, and then the third test we would break through it. We can spike under it to reach the 38.2 that I was showing a little bit before at the same time. Here, okay. So it's important to have all that in mind. If we would go lower, just to make a small extrapolation, let's take the fib here. We are 29% and above it, okay, 0.29%. So if we take a 29% here above, you see we are arriving right in this area. So that would be very coherent. If we would have, for any reason, a spike up with the data or something like that this morning, we know that we have a confluence with this area and the Dixie. So that's something you have on your charts, and you must look at in case we would look higher. Concerning the data, so for today I posted already the data in the agenda of data in the room. You have it, so we will have a look at it. But what is very important later today, I don't know when, because we don't have information on the real time when that would happen, but we have to look at that, look at this. This is super important because we have a lot of earnings of the big banks, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, JP Morgan. They are very important. We will have some news about the other one that was in bankruptcy, which is the I don't know, the second bank that was going to be bankrupted in US that didn't went, a regional bank. But this is very important because that will tell us something about the health of those people. I hope it will be later today so we can trade nicely, and if that happens late and move completely the market, we do not care, we have done the money. So concerning this morning, this is Friday. So concerning this morning, we had this German wholesale that was showing wholesale price index. So it's an inflation information. It's showing here a little higher on the monthly, but much, much, much lower on the yearly. So that's saying less pressure on the ECB, which is normally bearish for the euro. Then the Sweden, we do not care. The French was a little bit higher, but at this stage, looking how we are overbought, it's not something that will change the market. The Spanish CPI, it's only final data, so they are not changing a lot. You see this one was 0.9 to 1, 6.6 to 6.7. It's just an adjustment. When they say final, it's just an update of the data, okay? So it's not as important as a real CPI or PPI. This afternoon, the very important things are starting here. We have the retail sales monthly, and then we have some Fed speakers at 2:30, 2:15, 2:45, sorry, right after this data and just before the New York Open, okay? So we have to keep an eye on that. This morning we have nothing. For now, especially for Alex that has to go and probably sleep, I think there is nothing to do right here unless we get a long setup with a strong, let me see now, I don't have a setup yet, but we will see some bounce for sure of this thing. At the same time, I want to look at the other fib, especially this 100% here, so that could be a long, but due to that, which is the last thing we will look at now. You see how I had to reduce my charts because of the problem I had with TradingView. It's really insane. So what do we see here? We have a short 1 hour, or we had a short 1 hour. A spike up will give us another short very fast. Same thing on the 4 hour. On the weekly, we are in between nowhere, and on the daily, we have nothing yet. There, we are on the short on mostly all the oscillators, which is logical. After the move we had, it's normal. We are like this now. This is the long-term MOMEX with a long period, but you see the 4 hour is really on the highs. The 1 hour is struggling here. Here the 15 are low, but that's not the important for us on a daily basis. Intraday base, we look at this one, which is the same, but on the 7 period, and this one, 4 hour is high. 1 hour was at the high, like was the price 6, and the 15-minute are at the lows, which means what? Which means we can see a spike up. We can see that, and in that case, we would unfold the possibility of a spike above this 2360 and look for this 38.2 area, which is what I already explained earlier. Now, I think sooner or later there will be a long squeeze, which means market will squeeze the long because too many people are long, and market do not like that. So he want to squeeze up to scare the long, and then he will turn back long again. Sorry. So for now, that's what we have. I prefer to be short unless, for example, we get on the 930 or something like that. This is a 910. Usually the 910 can be a bottom, and we could test it on a long. This London plus 10 minutes here could be a long if you want to try it with a stop just under it, but I won't do it because even on Dixie we have room to the daily open. We have nothing to stop the Dixie now, so we have some room which could send us here at the same time on this 1 hour 2021 exponential moving average. So this one would be potentially a good place to get long. If we look at the 5 minute, you see we have room there, and I don't like to be low to take any trade without having the 5 minute with me. Even we saw here a spike up. There was this signal, there was no other signal, but this one was mostly on the bottom. There it's even not yet. So that's telling me we can look lower. If we look at this, for the one that would like to challenge a long scalp, which I will do, by the way, I will not stay doing nothing, but carefully, because if we have the squeeze in place, we could accelerate lower. The next very nice, very big area to do it would be 110.45. It's a volume area where we bounce from. You see yesterday we bounced from nicely, so if we would get there and the daily open at the same time, if we would get there with a setup, we would surely bounce from it. Are we going to break up and go there? I don't know. But what I know is taking a scalp here could be a good idea, and could be a good idea especially if we want to look higher again today before resuming lower. So this is where we are. We have the same thing, and here before this 110.45-46 area, we have this very nice 1 hour 2021 exponential moving average that we have not been touching since here. You see here we reacted very nicely on it. This is when we took the long yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday. We took a long here for 80 something pips. That was before the open. Now we are inside the open, so it's a little bit different. As I said, it can go up, it can break, it can look to this area, but unless I see this area or this 100%, I could even copy, paste, put it here so you have it, because you won't have it otherwise. So unless we go to this 100% there, so we have the 88.60 there, I imagine. Let me check that. Oh no. Okay. Why don't we have the 88.66 here? Oh, because it's ABC. Okay, never mind. So, so you see we are bouncing on we kept the low of the 910. So as I said, you could have challenged it here. Here it was, you put the stop just under there. If it goes up, then you ride it. If it doesn't, then you take a very small risk. I am waiting due to the fact, and now we have the 5 minute setup. So you see, on the close, we had it here and there. So could be a bounce here. Now the stop would have to be wider, because you would need to put your stop here, which would be 4 pips or something like that. But it's still something that would not be totally crazy to challenge. If you want, you risk 4 stops, and you see what it does. But I will wait. For me, I will wait to see if we can get this area. I would be much more comfortable here. But anyway, Okay, so the idea is if we can challenge along with good setup and on the time pivot, this one is 9 plus 10, but the real time pivot is 9:30. So if we have to see if we could drop this to this area before 9:30, which look a little bit unlikely. So we will look at what's happening here. You see we're breaking up. So this is the long call on the L plus 10 minutes. And you remember I said it inside this. This was the 9 plus 10. We had the low in place here. So usually it's very simple. You just take a long there. I mean, you take a trade right on the 10 minutes of the right on the 10-minute close here. Oops. Up. Okay. So I jumped in when I was saying to you because of the setup. I don't know if we'll go far away. I am a little bit higher on the entry, so I have a four pip stop there. But I took only 1/3 of position because I don't want to lose money on this wider stop there. But the other trade we did today is this short here. Okay. And another one was there because I woke up too early this morning. And I did well because of that problem I had on my trading view. So the problem I had on the trading view, just to let you know, it's not very interesting, but if you use a lot of chart on trading view, they have put a new restriction, which is really pissing me off, but strongly. And they give a limit of 50 open chart at the same time, which means in a day. And for me, I was using 140, so I had to close a lot of charts that I have saved on a different folder. I had to create 3 different folders, those LL lights folders. And here I have, you see, normally I have 114, 47, and 17. So I reduced that to 31, 21, and 15. It's very different. So I have less charts, but I kept the most important. I tried to get used to that. But that's what really made me lose time this morning, and I was pissed off, and I could not start the morning normally because of that. So just the explication. So if you see one day you have something saying you have passed the limit of 50 a day, blah blah blah, it's because they put a new limit. I am fighting with them because that's totally abnormal. They changed the rules in the middle of the of what we pay. Okay, so now I am running 3 positions here. This one was stopped out when we went higher. I shorted again on this double, triple area over there of volume resistances. And as I said, I would be very happy to see this 9:30. I don't think so. It's too late, but we have to be careful on what happened at 9:30. Despite we are pushing up, if we are here at 9:30 or there or here in the next 10 minutes, it could be another short entry. So we will look what's going on. If you have any question in the room, let me know. Just write it. If something is not clear for you, you tell me, and I try to explain it here inside the room. It will be important too to look at the reaction. For example, we had a 5-minute setup here. Normally, a 5-minute setup in the past day was providing a new high. Now we will see what happens. If we see the 5-minute setup are not providing higher push than the 5-minute setup on the other side, it means the trend is shifting, which is what I think will happen anyway. And that can last some time. I said it yesterday. I was explaining it to, I think there was only Lisa at this time. I can do it again. What we have is So I will just copy that on another chart that I will close after, because otherwise I will be over my limits. I will not be surprised. We should see, if we see this thing, you will know what it is. Okay. What the hell is doing that thing? Why is not working? Okay, so it's here, it's the weekly. So what I was explaining, if you look at this on the weekly chart, you see we are very high here. Usually when we are high like this, you can see it in many occasions. That's what I explained yesterday, and it's important to understand that. Otherwise, you get a little bit, not freak out, but in troubles emotionally when we trade those things. So for the one that are new or not used those things in a long time, so you think those signals here on the MOMEX are very strong when they have a weekly. Of course, when we have that, we look to have then the 15 and 5 minutes to take a short, and we will try to get short each time. But you see very well that the price still goes up, comes back, so you start to see that the momentum is pushing it lower. That's why the MOMEX is there. It's the momentum exhaustion indicator, so it's telling us the momentum is overdone and need to come back. It can come back only 300 pips, or it can come back like here, 2,600 pips. But anyway, it will come back, and we don't want to be trapped in this move. Then we can get probably long again here. You see the weekly went low, and we probably had at the same time the daily and everything. So what I want to point out here is what I just said. You see the top of this signal is lasting 2 weeks. In those 2 weeks, I move it here, you see the price is spiking up but coming back. Each time you have this one, then you see the price on a weekly base. It can spike up, but it comes back because the momentum is exhausted, as we see here. And that's what will happen this week. I'm pretty sure of that. So it's important, and we can still look higher. I repeat that again, we can still look higher. For example, here you have a very nice weekly support that we could touch. I don't think we will do that now, but if we would push higher, you have 111.43 for the next move up. If we only see a small one and spike again next week before seeing the real pullback, which should be 300, 400 pips or something like that. That's what we are hunting now, and that's why we are careful on the long, especially when we are on the top, on the high, on the open, on the London Open, okay? So that's what I wanted to explain. Is that clear about those long-term signals? What they tell us is they tell us, Guy, be careful. The actual trend, even if it's strong, will shift. That's clear for everybody? Let me know in the room. If it's not, I explain it differently. Okay. So that's why we get frustrated sometimes in that move, because we are trying to short something and we see it going up, and you say, oh gosh, why this crazy Oliver want to short this thing? The trend is up, the trend is up. Yes, the trend is up. Of course the trend is up, but the trend is done. And what we do here is we read it ahead. So on the long time frame, on the short time frame, we see it much closer from the time period point of view. But this is a very ahead signal. We had a short signal, a long signal here starting in June 2022 on the monthly base. Of course, it was telling us we will shift soon. We went down another 2 or 3 months, but that's a monthly signal. That's normal. Here, same thing. It can last 1 or 2 weeks of fights, but as soon as we get the signal, we will start seeing the wicked candle. You see everywhere when there have been wicks, the signal goes up again and boom, it turns. So this means we went up on a weekly base, we went up, but we could not sustain the price, and we came back completely from this top to this low. Okay? So from this top here to this low here. So spikes are very probable, but I will short each spike for the reason I said. Euro USD is not unstoppable, so don't. If you start thinking that it's because of emotion, and that's normal because it's always uncomfortable to be trying to short a rocket. But we know the rocket fuel tank is empty or more or less empty. On a weekly basis, 40, 50 pips up, even 80 pips up is nothing. Okay? So I stop with that. I close this chart because otherwise I will have too many charts. Leave, okay? And that's what we read here. So when we see this weekly chart, let me put a 1 hour so we see better. You see the weekly, we are very high. And the monthly too. Oh, by the way, it's joining too. So that will be important. And I have to look at that on the update on Monday. I didn't saw it was already so high. But on the 14 period, it's not. And this is the most important. When I get long in September, the 14 period was showing, you would see that on the monthly. That's why I get long. You see, this is what I said. And you see on this 14 period, we started to get a long signal and beginning of August, September, 2 months, boom. Okay. So here we have room, but on the short period, the 7 period, we don't. What does it mean? It needs to breathe and we come back, okay? But we have that getting ready. So this one can last 2 months, 3 months, as we saw on the other one, not on the 14 period. And the 14 period is not ready yet. This one is usually reacting faster, even if we see here, this is an hourly chart. So it means it lasts several hours, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But that's the time where we are hunting and we are taking some longs. But the most, all this signal we get a line, we miss the daily for now. But the most we are getting those signal on the up everywhere, the less I will be longing and the most I will be shorting. Okay, I'm just trying to explain you why and how I take the decision in the morning to do what I do. So now we have taken a long here on the, it was the L plus 10. Yes, we have a small long running here. We were late because I didn't saw the signal. So we saw the signal a little bit late here. This one was down and it came back because it's repainting on the close. So we have a small long signal. We are riding it probably or not. I don't know. But as I said, we have a lot of fuel tank empty on the upside on the bigger time frame, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the weekly. So that means the potential is there. It will go up. It could, even now, it can spike 50 pips and go there. But from here, it would be a fantastic short. Okay. So that's why here I took only 1/3 of size because I was late on the entry, because I have a 5 pip stops if I'm not wrong, and because of the fact of this 2360 field that I explained already earlier. So if you were not in the room, I have recorded that. I will stop probably the recording now. And how long did I record this thing? Let me check. Yes, 34 minutes. So I stop recording.